Hey family, what's going on? It's your girl. It's your girl. Hey, so I wanted to talk about the regular. The regular everyday, is it culture or is it Christ? We seem to make it okay to drink, to smoke, to have sex, all the things, right? But if we say that we're Christians, why is it okay for us to make culture blend in with our Christian walk? You know, I was quick to always say, hey, I'm a Christian, knowing I was not living as a Christian. A Christian means to be Christ like. So if we are sitting here and saying on a day to day basis that we are Christ like, but yet we're out on the weekends, we're smoking, we're drinking, we having awful discussions about everyday life, whether it's gossiping about other people, it's, you know, sex, or, let's get this to this bag, doesn't matter who we sleep with as long as we get into this money. All those things matter. All those things matter. Where is your heart? Where is your mind? What are you thinking? What are you wanting to accomplish here, honey? Are we of this world or are we set apart? You know, I for one was saved many years ago, and I was church hurt and decided I was going to leave the church, and I did. And I was very unhappy for a long time. And it took me losing my mother to get back to Christ. And I take my walk pretty serious now for over a year now. I was drinking, I was sleeping with everybody, I was doing all the things. Don't get it twisted. I mean, I'm a clean girl. But at the end of the day, I was okay. As long as he was fine, he smelled good, and he was telling me the right things, he was getting a piece. Okay? And at the end of the day, no, you should not be getting a piece, honey. You need to court me. You need to treat me like I am a woman. You need to love me like Christ loved the church. So I don't understand why we make it so easy to speak that we are Christians when we are not Christians. We must say, hey, I know about God, I know about Jesus, but don't sit here in front like you really got to walk with Christ. That's not the case. And we have to start being respectful of who he is. So if we're not going to live that way, we're not going to talk that way, we are supposed to be the light of the world. If we're not acting as the light of the world, we should not be uttering that we are Christians, because that is where we're getting these things very misconstrued. And that's why so many people out here talking about Christians, because we are not acting as Christians when we outside doing what we want to do all day long. That is not it, honey. Okay? And I'm the first to tell you, because I was outside. All right. And when I say outside, I'm talking about drinking Hennessy bottles to the head by myself. They knew me as the 2 cube girl, because I would always have 2 cubes of ice in my Henny straight. Okay. And if you know my friends from before, you would know that that was who I was. And as soon as I was nice and frisky, I was calling one of my ex dudes to, for us to get on in with the things and all of the things, okay? And that's what we did. But no, honey. And then we got the audacity to act like these people belong to us. And then we got the nerve to be upset when they cheating left and right. Well, if everybody's accessible to everybody, then why would we believe that that person belonged to us? No, honey. No, no, that person don't belong to you. At the end of the day, the beginning of the day, all day. Okay. We have no business believing that somebody belongs to us. You know who belongs to us? And we are his? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. And do you know he loves us more than we love ourselves? Because we wouldn't do those things if we loved ourselves. Think about it. You could be the baddest. You could have the fattest tail. You could be walking around here looking like a everything. Snack, appetizer, dessert, all of the things. But inside, we are broken people. We need to be breaking cycles. These cycles are the enemy destroying us generation to generation to generation. And it's sad. And I want our people to do better. And if we're going to decide that we want to live Christ-like lives, that is what we need to emulate. You know, let me tell you something. I used to have the Bible, and I would have my ashtray with my blunt in it right beside my Bible. And I used to ask God, please take this taste away from my mouth. I want to be pleasing to you. How can I be pleasing to you, but I'm pleasing myself? I'm being carnal as I don't know what. I'm sitting here really playing in your face day by day, trying to act like I want to be Christ-like, but knowing deep down inside, I'm about to light this L. That L was destroying me. Because I would get into a sunken place and all I would want to do is smoke. And smoke and smoke. Why did I want to smoke? Because I didn't want to face reality. I was miserable with my job. My kids were acting a fool. My dudes was acting a fool. Everybody around me was the fool. But guess who was the fool? Because I don't want to face reality. But guess what? Reality is that Christ gives us peace that surpasses all understanding. He loves us more than we could ever imagine. When you open up his word and you start to learn who he is, man, y'all don't even understand the glory of the Lord, okay? And the goodness and the grace and the mercy. All of the things. He allows people to do witchcraft and talk just disgusting about him. And he still died for them. Now that's amazing. Let me tell you something. This walk is not for the faint of heart. Let me be honest, okay? You gotta die to yourself. You gotta not want to punch people in the face. Now, when you know you coming from New York City, in the Bronx especially, I wouldn't say especially, just coming from New York City, period, okay? You gonna want to beat people up. You're not gonna want to turn the other cheek. And the word says we gotta turn the other cheek, okay? So wanting to punch a person in the face is very easy. Having self-control is not. But let me tell you something. When you get Christ in your heart, you want to love people like he loves them. And like I said, it's not the easiest thing to do, because some days are easier than others. That's why you got to put your armor on. You got to read your word. You got to pray. You got to worship. You got to fast. This is an everyday walk. Every day. And I'm just thankful and I'm so grateful that I am where I am today. You know, my last ex-boyfriend told me, yeah, you too holy for me. Okay. That's why you my ex-boyfriend, babes. Because you expected me to continue to give you what you did not deserve. And that was all of me. So I'm so thankful and so grateful that God allowed me to do the nonsense for many, many years. The fornicating, the drinking, the this, the that. I did it. Got the t-shirt, babes. Okay? I did it. I did it. And I'm not proud of it. I don't wish. My heart's desire is that I would have took heed when I was first saved, and I would have not allowed church hurt to keep me away from the church or keep me away from Christ, because the church is you. Okay? And what a lot of people don't realize is that this should be a relationship thing and not a religion thing. A lot of people are turned away from the church because of, you know, sexual immorality in the church, people acting like they are of this world in the church. People are, you know, closing doors and asking for money, and, you know, whatever floats your boat. You know, that doesn't mean that you're not Christ-like because you've done that, right? Maybe you tired of people not paying their tithes and offering. I don't know what the case may be, because that's not neither here nor there. But at the end of the day, those things is what keeps people away from the love of God and really wanting to build that relationship and foundation with Christ. Let me tell you something. When you have that foundation, you don't want anything else. You don't care if he brings you a mate. You don't care about your finances, because you know that those things will come if it's in his will for your life. And you are okay with that. People tend to think that I'm not feeling a certain way because I don't have a person in my life. I'm okay with that. I really am. Because you know who I got? My boy upstairs, you heard? And he loves me. He shows me on a daily basis when I wake up, when I'm mobile, when I can talk, when I can walk, when I can do all things through him. Okay? And I'm just grateful. And I want to be an ear. I want to be, you know, however I may show up for a person, I like to be that. And I see such a transformation within this last year. And I'm grateful, ever so grateful. And I just want to share the love of God with people. And, you know, it took me a long time to put this video, this thing together, because I'll be honest, I don't want fame. I mean, fortunately, you know, who don't want that? But um, he wants me to be obedient and start what I have started. And that's why I press play. And I'm grateful because I know that this is his doing and not my own. I don't know where this will take me, but I am ready to be obedient because this is what I am called to do. So that's my little tea for the day. I hope that I inspired someone out there that is struggling, because we all fall short. That's one thing about it. You know, you could say you want to be Christ-like. You could say I believe in Jesus Christ, but I'm not living up to his standards. or anything of the sort. But don't sit here and play in his face when you're not trying to walk that walk. That's my TED talk for real. Like, I don't want anybody to sit here and say that you love him or you know him when you don't really open up his word, when you don't try to build a relationship, when you are just a Sunday Christian. Keep it keep it a buck with yourself. That's it. Keep it a buck with yourself. We sit here and be like, oh, but I'm a child of God and he don't play about me. Do you play about him? Do you play about him? Do you take him serious? Or you playing in his face? Yeah, I'm a Christian, and you throwing it back on Saturday at the club. No, babes. No. 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 Mm-mm. Listen, if you want to go out, be with your friends, that's cute. It's cute all day. In the word, they ate and they chilled with each other's and all of the things. That was how people feasted. They hung out with each other, had a little wine and would sit down and have little conversations. But how far do you have to take it? That's the real that's the real deal. And at the end of the day, I'm not here to judge. I will rightfully judge because we need to be held accountable for our actions here on this earth before we get to Him. I want to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant, period. Period. So I want others to join me in that. And I would love to see people up there rejoicing and loving Him and all of the things. But in order to do that, we have to get it right here. So I've attached my information to the link in the description. I hope you liked what I had to say. And by the way, this is the Commission Podcast. I have named it the Commission Podcast because I know that this is His calling for my life. And I feel I was commissioned to do so. So it's been real. And I'm out.